So let's walk through the steps to create an activity that would allow this choose file option to be available for the student to upload and submit into you as an instructor. Let's walk through the steps right now. If you're going to be creating the activity, keeping in mind that you might want to be able to have the activity appear in multiple sections you've already created as a program administrator, you're going to want to originally create that activity from course materials and go to the Add from Library area. We're going to walk through these steps right now. Click Add from Library. And on the left-hand side, you're able to add your own materials to the library. Once you add them, you'll be able to move them over into your course and decide where you'd like to place them in the actual course itself. Choose Add Course Materials, and then you can select from any type of activity type. You most likely will want to choose an instructor activity because then you can set specific preferences globally in the preference area for these types of activities separately. So if you wanted to change and have specific settings of attempts or modifications to preference settings, you can set them specifically so any activity you create with the instructor activity type would apply to certain settings that you would want to have versus a test or a SAM activity. The steps would be the same no matter which option you choose. I'm going to choose instructor activity. And then you can give your activity a name. This would also be the name your students would see. So I'm going to call this sample. And then the only other place you need to write or select on this page is on the very bottom for the behavioral mode. This is the trick. You should select assignment type. This would be able to put in that browse file and allow your student to upload a file directly inside this activity that would appear on your instructor grading channel. So you want to choose the assignment behavioral mode and then click Save and Continue. From the Questions tab, you're now able to create your own question. You can choose Add Questions and then just simply click Create New Question. You can give your question title a name, and you can also make the screen bigger. And then the box below is where you'll actually type your question. If you have specific directions, for instance, if you're going to have your students turn in a composition, you can add the directions and any type of topics you want your students to cover in the composition directly inside this window. If you already have the composition saved in a Word document, you can cut and paste the Word document directly or the words from the Word document directly into this window. By right-clicking, you can choose Paste, or you can also choose Control-V on your keyboard to paste in the item as well. You can also just type in what you'd like to say and use the toolbar fonts and colors to create a customizable specific for your student. If you want to add in an image, there is one additional step you would need to do before you come to this area. You would need to upload the image to your content library first, and then you'd be able to browse for the image. We have a separate video on how to add an image to the content library, so this step has already been done. So I'm going to select this button right here to insert in a media image. I can then browse my library because I've already added my image there and choose. My library will pull open, and then I'm able to grab my image that I've already uploaded. I'm going to choose Add and Close. And then I'm going to click OK. My image now is included in my question. Also note too, you do have the voice recorder as well, so you could record an audio to your students that they would be able to play back before they submitted in their composition. The last piece is underneath you want to choose Add Answer to be able to provide a point total that you would like this student to be graded on. So choose Add Answer and then provide your score. I'm going to say 20 points. Then you can just simply click Save and Close. And then it's asking you where you'd like to save this particular item in your library. You can choose a certain folder, or if you just click Add and Close, the item will be added at the bottom of the course materials library area, so you could easily find it later. Just click Add and Close, and now you have your question appeared. You're able to get back to this window at any time, and I'll show you in a few minutes, but once you're here, if you would like to edit your question, you can choose the options arrow right next to it and edit and get back to the entire edit window. You can edit anything that we just reviewed. You can also add additional questions. And so you could just choose add questions, create new question, and add additional question that would appear inside this activity. There is a place to add directions, but if you're lining out your directions in your first question, you can just leave this area blank. You do not need to put a direction line in. If you haven't specified a specific direction for your student, you might want to click the add button and put in your specific overall directions for them. Click Save and Return, but first, also I want to point out you do have a preference area that you can modify and change certain preferences for this type of activity. When you're finished, click Save and Return. And your question has been successfully added, or activity has been successfully added into the course materials library. If you just selected Add and Close, it will appear at the bottom of your list. At this point, you can preview or come back at any time and edit or modify that particular activity. Click on it and I'll show you what this would look like. And notice, because I chose the assignment behavioral mode, I have a way to choose file as a student and upload my composition into you as the instructor. The student would choose file and then browse their desktop to find the file that they saved on their computer that they've been working on, most likely their composition. They find that file and they select it and choose Open. They then need to click the Add button to add it so it appears in the submission window. Once they've done that, they click Submit for Grading and Finish, and they'll get the notification that it's now pending instructor review. This file would then be directly sent to you in your instructor grading channel, and you'd be able to view the file and provide a score to the student that would report to the online gradebook. To make sure that you can assign this activity, once you've created it, you do need to add it over into your course. And so select the composition activity and then choose Add. Now, before you choose Add, you might want to think about where you'd like to place this activity inside your course. You can place the activity wherever you'd like. Just keeping in mind, though, wherever you decide to place the activity to live inside this course, that's also where you'll find the grade in your gradebook. And so you might want to base it on where you would like to see the grade in your gradebook. If you want to see their composition or this particular activity's grade, when you first open the gradebook, you just want to click Add, and the composition activity will be listed outside of any of the other folders. This would then allow it to appear directly at the top of your gradebook. If you want to, you can make your own folder, which would be a folder available inside the gradebook as well, that you could add all your activities to. And you would need to create that folder first by clicking Add Folder, name it, and click Create. Once the folder is created, it'll be at the bottom of your page. You can then open that folder and then add the composition activity to that particular folder that's open. Or lastly, you can just quickly open up any publisher-provided folder that's already there and add the activity to that folder. Again, just always keeping in mind wherever you add this activity is where it will appear in your online gradebook. You can cut and paste and move activities around to manipulate where they would appear in your gradebook, but it might be nice to think about that ahead of time so you have everything set up the way you would like. I'm going to choose Add. And whenever you add something, it will appear at the bottom of the list in that particular folder or area. And so now my composition activity is listed here. It would then be available to view on your assignments calendar, so you could assign it to your students for a due date. Once it's available in your course materials, it will automatically be available in your assignments calendar. And so now I can select that activity, show it so my students can see it, select it, and then drag and drop it to a day on the calendar. How would this look for your students? Well, let's go over to the student view. They would come to that particular activity on the calendar, select it, they would see their directions and what they should do for the activity, and then the same steps I just showed previously. They can choose the file, click Add so it appears in this window. You will not be able to view the file unless it appears in this window when the student's submitting it in, and then finish Submit for grading. It would then appear on your Today's View channel, and you would be able to grade it, and the grade will report to the gradebook.